exactly the same asleep as it is when I'm awake. Your mom was agoraphobic too.
I'm here, just like her, unable to leave.
Game after game.
So what is it? I want some pro gamers to test it before the launch.
Hello, Hannah.
Hi?
Hey, Alexis, pleasure to meet you. How are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. Congratulations on the movie Latency. It's brilliant. I was just speaking to your co-star in the film, and well, I was telling her how. I mean, I've suffered anxiety since I was really quite young, so it was some of it was really quite tricky. How authentic some of the mental health themes that it touches on, they were really kind of really authentic. And she told me how she researched with a psychiatrist friend of her father's to really kind of get in touch with that kind of mindset. So I'm wondering, because your character, without giving too much away about your character is very much kind of the support and this kind of this rope that she's got to the world now outside. How did you kind of approach that? Not just with Sasha, but on your own. How did you go about to kind of think about how you would support someone who's kind of going through these kind of mental health issues? Because I know that you're very much an advocate of mental
Yeah.
health yourself, no?
Yeah. I mean, specifically for Jen, when I read it, I felt very connected to her. Like her just as a character, I'm very similar, sarcastic, dry, sometimes says too honest things, tries to make levity out of situations. Like I felt very called to her on that level.
Mhm.
And then obviously like with Sasha and her character Hannah, it was more because there's so much darkness within that, I was able to kind of be the contrast of it. And then also just playing with this idea of really being the best friend. Like, how can I truly be there for her in every capacity? And let that be the intention throughout the film, because that truly is what Jen um, is there for. She loves Hannah so much, and she wants to see Hannah, experience the world from a less scary perspective.
I mean, the relationship you shared with her was fantastic. I mean, it says that you really love Hannah's character, but you just really feel like you've known each other since you were like so high. So, I mean,
Yeah.
imagine you just got on as soon as you met, or was it kind of, did you work on the background of the history that maybe the two of them had before the film?
I kind of made up some things in my head, but I was more so nervous to meet Sasha, like her, because I've been such a big fan of her,
Right.
and I was really nervous to work with her. And like obviously, whenever you go into a new acting situation, you're just like, I don't know who this person is. I would, maybe we don't click, or maybe we do. And I was really grateful. Sasha's incredible, and there was just an instant connection there. So I felt very like it was all very easy. It was one of those rare sets where it felt real. And so then therefore the camera just picked it up really beautifully.
Mhm. Talking of picking things up, I don't know if I was reading between the lines, but something that I wanted to ask you is about the wardrobe, especially your wardrobe, because it just felt like there were certain things were very specifically handpicked. I don't know if you did it or James, to kind of contrast your character and each time that you visit Sasha or Hannah,
Yeah,
and
it
kind of
was fun.
Hannah's clothes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Hannah, she's more like simple, cool girl, like 90s, just cool. And for me, it was like I really got to play with that gamer, the
Yeah.
green hair. I mean, I didn't even know what hairstyle they were going to give me each scene. I was just like, just do whatever you want. And that was cool because I think, in my last film, The Enforcer, I played more of the girl that the guy falls in love with and more of like that archetype. And so this one, it was cool because I got to shed um that archetype that I thought I would really get typecast into, because there is, as much as Hollywood is really good nowadays showing the nuance of humanity, there still is that typecast archetype connection that people feel like you only can do this or you can only do that. And so with Jen, I felt like just a door opened, and the way she dressed and her vibe. And I stole some I stole some of her personality from my friend Emily, who's just this really cool like Asian girl, and she just loves anime. And I was just like, I don't know, I feel like Jen like has that vibe. Like she would love Japan or Korea, or she would just have so much fun in that world.
Uh-huh. Brilliant. So I mean, so I imagine James was very open. Did he kind of let you choose how you wanted to take this character a little bit, and not just the clothes, but in kind of the form of personality? You said there that you think she like kind of loved Japanese things and these kind of things. Was that
I mean,
a lot of you, or
yes,
was that
I
a lot of
think
James as well?
it was a lot of me. I think we just kind of played with it, and then at one point he was like, you have her. So just like let's do a couple different takes and then just do things that feel like Jen. And just like little random movements that, obviously aren't in the script, but I felt because of her dry personality and humor, it's like she's gonna try and be sassy here or like roll her eyes there. And it felt very um just organic and natural. And they ended up using the majority of all of those specific takes where I kind of threw something random in there. So I was really happy about that because you don't know which take they're going to use.
Yeah. I mean, you said there also that you kind of you got a dry sense of humor, maybe a bit dark at some places. Was that something that you had to kind of walk a very fine line with as well, just to kind of keep it the right tone? Because obviously, people with mental health, you don't know how they're going to take certain jokes, so that's something you got to be very careful with as well. No.
Yeah, there's a point in the movie where you could tell Jen sensed that she took it a little too far with a joke. But that was the thing. I think she's super intuitive to Hannah because she knows that Hannah needs that type of jokes and levity in her life because it feels so dark. But then there's this also line of like, okay, you just bullied me. I probably shouldn't have said that. So there was a moment where we had that, and there wasn't, words to it, but it was just a look of like, I'm sorry, I went too far. And then we continued on. So I think there's just a deep level of trust. And also Hannah knows Jen really well. And like, regardless of what she says, she's literally the best friend ever. She's taking out the trash. She's making sure that Hannah gets fed. She's checking in on her. She's coming over whenever Hannah calls. Like she really shows how she cares through her acts of service.
Mm-hmm. And I want to ask about the setting as well, because I think you went off to Bangkok and you were kind of in this claustrophobic setting all the time. That must have really helped kind of really get into the role as well, no?
They did such an incredible job on that set. Like it looked exactly how it does in the film. It looked in real
Yeah.
life. And it was trippy. And then there was a point where they actually like trashed the apartment at one point, and that
Yeah,
looked
that's right.
so
Sashi was telling me that they made it look all messy. Yeah, and she was like, "No, I don't
yeah,
think
they
it's
did
so
a
messy." Yeah.
fantastic job because I think a lot of the times, sometimes it does feel like a set, but they literally they built this apartment in a warehouse and it was so cool. So we had just a lot of fun of that because it got us into the mood and the vibe. And I'm a very like coming from a modeling background, I treasure the outfits and the scene and the place that we're acting in. It all matters. It all comes to play to create these moments. So as soon as I stepped into that apartment, I was like, no, this is gonna be
This
this is
is
gonna be
my
we
this is my
got this.
dicks.
Yeah.
Wait, well, listen, they're almost giving the wrap. So just to finish off, then, I understand is that you've got a podcast coming up very soon. Is that right?
I do,
Can you tell
yeah.
us
It's
about that?
releasing July. I'm just kind of like a nerd. I've always wanted to interview certain people. We're gonna be interviewing people from all over different categories. I mean, from like conspiracy theorists to people on Gaia. We have some incredible people, health gurus as well. For me, I just want an excuse to talk to people I've always wanted to talk to. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it'll be out in July.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time, Alex. It's really nice to meet you and speak to you. Wish you the best of luck with the film. I loved it to bits, and I hope everyone does as much as me. And I hope to speak to you again sometime soon.
Thank you, Howard. Appreciate
All
it.
right, take care of yourself. Nice to speak to you. Cheers, then.
You are controlling me!
All I've had was the games. Game after game.
Open the door and walk out.
The Omniac is with you. Always.
Touch me, baby, tainted love.